opinionated, rein in that attitude. We've all heard something like that when we've tried to voice an unpopular opinion or two, and sort of faced a lockdown, right, on the ability to express ourselves. And that holds true especially for women. Everything about us is policed, so to speak, from the way we dress, the way we talk, the way we sit, the way we pray. Everything, each and everything about women is scrutinized. So freedom of expression in that sense becomes all the more important and precious for us. For a generation that has such an unprecedented access to information from across the world, and one that is so politically aware and outspoken, freedom of expression is pretty much an integral part of our everyday existence. For Kanika Goyal, this notion has been at the core of her work. Raised in a large joint family with limited scope for airing personal opinions, Kanika knew at the very outset that the freedom to say what she wants has to reflect in her designs. Because of that continued effort of hers in this direction, she has carved a distinct identity for herself in the fashion world in India and abroad. So now let's meet the woman behind this refreshing idea in fashion, Kanika Goyal.
Hi, Sukhmani.
Hi, Kanika. An aspect of your work that has always stood out has been typography. You know, one doesn't always see phrases like "you do you" or words like "controversial" in large lettering, right, across designer outfits. How did that come about? What's the story there?
I think typography has always been an integral part of our brand, since the beginning. And I think, as you mentioned earlier, it's all about freedom of expression and, about just putting your point of view out there. And I feel that was something that was missing, especially in my earlier years. When I was like studying, I think I really did not have any point of view. When it got me extremely underconfident in sort of even voicing my opinion out there, because I used to feel that, okay, people would not accept me or, I would be oppressed. But I think that sort of changed gradually. And, I realized how liberating it was to actually voice my opinion out, and for people to sort of, address it in a very positive manner. You always need, I feel, you're always looking for that validation. But I think at the end of the day, it's you need that validation from yourself. And that's something that I also loved about the people around me, just hearing them talk or hearing their conversations, hearing their point of view, seeing where they're coming from. It's so inspiring and intriguing at the same time. And with our brand especially, I think we sort of voice our opinions out through humor. So when they say, okay, I just want to make a person smile, or today, or just transport that person to a happy place, even for a few seconds. That's exactly what we do, because everybody loves a bit of humor. And you often do that by sarcastically addressing the ongoing cultural or relevant issues that are going on. For example, consumerism. Yeah.
Right. So in that sense then, are you influenced by the culture around you, or are you, through your work, trying to influence and further this idea of an outspoken youth?
I think, first of all, culture is a living thing. So, for every great culture to evolve, you need to have that exchange of ideas. And fashion in particular is a part of that cultural evolution. So, even when you look back to the time after the Great Depression, and you talk about how the fashion for women changed so drastically, and they started wearing pants, or the waistline went up when they weren't supposed to. The need of the hour was for them to step out and join the workforce. So yeah, I think it's a give and take relationship. We try to get influenced by the culture and the ongoing scenario of sort of questioning everything, and also in return try and influence and encourage the youth to be more outspoken. So for like instance, in our last collection we did these patches with the ATM slips that were actually a sarcastic take on the consumerist culture, but the whole idea behind it was to actually promote self-love.
So, did you see an immediate acceptance of this push towards speaking out through fashion? I mean, there must have been some resistance.
We actually do not have any resistance because, yeah, really, because I think people really wanted that. That was something that was missing. And I'm definitely, when I say that there is a segment of people that would accept it more and would relate to it more as compared to the others, because it connects to them instantly. Also because the language is a bit loud and blunt. So also we in this age of we're in this age of where your digital culture has taken over, and you look in Instagram, social media influencing people's behavior and how. So the narrative needs to be extremely strong when you're sort of to sort of appeal to that mindset. You need to have that mind over matter approach. So even when you talk about say in this time of global activism, if you look at the recent campaigns that were done by Gillette and Colgate, those are great examples of actually putting a strong story out there to trigger human emotions, because the product is changing now.
Right. So, going back to what you said about global activism, empowerment, like it's a large part of being outspoken, isn't it? Right? And I mean economic empowerment, which I'm sure we would all agree is it's very important for women in our country, especially. One school of thought is that fashion largely is disconnected from that reality, and that what you're trying to say through the medium of fashion is somehow it doesn't really matter, because as long as if there are no benefits trickling down to the grassroots, then what's the point?
Yeah, I mean, I 100% agree with your statement, wherein the benefit does need to trickle down to the grassroots. We're in this day and age where that is a must. And brands need to be social actors to provide, specific role models to the society. And more than anything, it's empowering in reality than I'm just empowering in theory too, that we, more often see. And when you especially talk about empowerment, I think it's more about economic empowerment, because I think that is one thing that really elevates an individual to really, take a stand for themselves. And women in particular, I mean, we see it every day. It's almost like, for us to have a career is almost like an option and not considered a priority. So that's something that really I feel is also changing now. And we're blessed, I mean, to be a country like India where the abundance of craft is there, and the diversity that has to offer. And we're lucky that a lot of brands and organizations are working towards that now, in terms of uplifting communities by uplifting, sort of empowering more communities by uplifting more crafts. And for example, Anita Dongre is a great example of the same. Like, she has been working on this for years now. In 2016, we also took a step in that direction, wherein we collaborated with this NGO called Bharatiya Gramin Mahila Sangh, and which is a national association of rural women in India. And we took up Fulkari as a craft. That's something that we showcased in a trade show in Paris, and it was highly appreciated.
Right, great. That's really great. Going back to freedom of expression, what we spoke about earlier, what is your vision for freedom of expression in fashion? Is it just a passing trend, do you think, or
I feel, first of all, like, no matter what, like, no matter where you come from, or what your personal circumstances are, or what your status in society is, you always want to be noticed, and by the way you dress, or you always want to sort of express your feelings by what you wear. And fashion has always been that medium to sort of, just make a personal standpoint. In the earlier days, maybe you can say, oh, it was more driven by gender. But I think that's changed now drastically. Like, I feel earlier people used to get into trouble for dressing up a certain way because it used to be considered more rebellious or offensive by the society, whereas they were just expressing themselves. But I think that's changed now. Like, people want to dress up for like what their current mood is, or what their personality is, and I feel that is persuasive all by itself. It's like a great tool to actually move around the world, whether it's business or innovation. And if you actually look at the past years, technology has taken over tremendously. Wherein I mean, it was never like people didn't want to dress up. Like, people always wanted to dress up. It's just now that we see it at a more wider and global scale. And I mean, look look back at 2010 when Instagram launched. It was just a photo sharing app, and right now it's like this whole business platform. So I mean, the possibilities are just endless. That I mean, like I said, fashion is a part of cultural evolution, and and look at the speed at which the world is actually changing right now, and the medium of you know self-expression are evolving, and I think that would be unfair for me to restrict my creative vision that's there.
Fair point, fair point. So, thank you, Kanika, for sharing your insights on something that's so increasingly relevant, not just for the youth, for the entire country today. Thank you.